January 10th, 2015. My name is Stacy Cribbs, and I'm the interviewer, and this is Bob Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
And let's go ahead and begin. Can you tell us which war you were a participant in?
World War II.
World War II. And were you drafted or enlisted?
I was drafted.
Drafted. And how old were you?
19.
19. Where were you living at that time?
At home with my parents on the farm.
What town was that in?
Hammond, Illinois was the address.
Very good. So you were single at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And which branch of the service did you join?
Army, yeah.
The Army?
That's the question.
Yeah. And what do you recall about your first days of service? Or how did you begin your time in the service?
Let's see. What question is that?
Well, just on your own account, answer the question instead of reading off of there.
Where did you do your basic training at?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Had you ever been to Pennsylvania before?
No.
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 What did you think of it?
Well, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Well, there's marching and hills there, and it was cold.
What month? Do you remember what time of year it was?
It was in the winter.
It was in the winter.
Yeah.
And
Well, it was a new life for me, all together.
did you have any friends that were in boot camp with you?
With me? No.
Anyone that you
knew?
knew? No.
All strangers.
All strangers. Coming from a small town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a young kid, so, I had to learn to live again, really. I didn't mind it. I could take it all, but I was just not guilty of anything,
Right.
Yeah.
What were they training you to do in boot camp?
Training me to?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the end for me to wind up.
Okay. Were you able to go home on leave after you finished boot camp?
I never went home, no.
You never did.
After boot camp, I was sent to Boston, loaded on a ship, and sent to Greenland.
To Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your job to be in Greenland?
Just, I don't know what it was, but what it wound up being is unloading the ship, and I guess that's what I've always done.
Tell about building the airstrip. First thing you had to do when you got there, help build an airstrip for planes to land on.
Oh, what did you say?
Did you help build an airstrip in Greenland?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it was just my duty, they just kept with everybody else, and we wanted to build that for unload ships. They had gasoline on them in barrels, and then the airport come along there, unloaded, and their job was to gas back up, and then they was ready to go overseas.
They were going to fly overseas.
At that time, airplanes could not fly clear to Germany.
England.
So we unloaded them, and they'd be part of the airport was going to land.
Mm-hmm.
We refueled them, and they was ready for this go across.
Ready to go across. Mm-hmm. Were those planes coming from the United States?
Yes.
Then to Greenland, then they go on to Europe?
That's right.
Okay, I see. So
we could tell when the ships come in there that there's going to be action not too far apart.
Not too far from Greenland, you mean?
Well,
Or from where?
they was going to Germany.
Okay.
Or England too.
On our way up there, they shipped the submarine was from Germany, and it chased us all the way up there, right in the bonnet, but they never got that close to hit us, you know, so we were thankful for that.
Very thankful. What year was this?
Let's see.
1940 or 41. Was it 1941?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, 1941.
Very good. So you say you had to build the airstrip. So when you
it
arrived
was all
there,
an iceberg.
it was all an iceberg.
And that was new experience for me to see an iceberg that big, you know, and flat. You know, it was that the Army had sent a load of special traces or something to form it, you know.
Equipment.
So you built the landing strip right on the iceberg.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That is interesting. Did you have any special buddies from boot camp that came along with you maybe?
All strangers.
All
It
strangers.
was all formed. We shipped us to Boston, and we were all strangers, and we went from there, from Boston, got on the ship, and things started happening.
Things started happening.
Yeah, he was in the Army.
Did you become good friends with any of those people?
Several. We worked together, and most of us spent 2 years up there before we were sent back to the States. Of course, if you had sickness, why they was no good to the Army, they better shipped you back. But you had to be very sick to
get out.
Get out, yeah.
Did you ever experience any sickness in your time there?
I never did, no. I'm just lucky, I guess.
Very good. Now, did you go anywhere else besides Greenland? Where did you go?
When I came back, at that time, in order to get out of the Army, you had to make points each year. So I was shipped to Georgia, and I went to, let's see, where was it?
So,
Yeah,
Philadelphia. Tell her what you did in Georgia, though.
Georgia.
What did you do in Georgia?
I didn't stay there very long until I was sent to, I wound up in Brooklyn, a regular farm, and my job there was to have about 10 German prisoners. Their job was just to mow the yard and stuff, but I had to watch them because they slippery and hide, you know, and all. So,
This was in Georgia.
pardon me.
This was in Georgia?
No, it was in Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. I apologize. I apologize.
I thought you was overseeing.
Because
I thought, how about German prisoners in Georgia? I thought that's what you did in Georgia too.
I did nothing in Georgia. I was just waiting for points
Oh,
Waiting for points.
to
Okay.
get discharged.
So let's go back to the watching the prisoners of war in Brooklyn. What was your specific job?
Watch them. There's not let them escape. And there'd be a sergeant come up in the morning for my duty, and he had those 10 prisoners, and I had to watch them, not let them. They like to hide, you know, and they watch the pretty girls around the camp there.
Sure.
And
Do you remember what camp this was?
it was in Brooklyn. I forget the name.
Forget the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what were you instructed to do if they did try to hide or escape?
Well, you had to go hunt them or threaten them, you know, and they enjoyed it, but, you know, it was just, I don't know, waiting to get free, I guess, where you put it.
Sure. Did you enjoy your time in Brooklyn?
Not really, because I was just putting in time to make those points to get or,
to get discharged.
yeah.
How long?
I didn't hate it, but, you know,
Yeah. How long did you serve in the Army?
4 years.
4 years. And where was most of your time spent?
In Greenland.
In
I was
Greenland.
2 years up there
Okay.
before I got sent back to the United States.
hmm Do you have any particular experiences from Greenland that you remember or might want to share?
Well, I don't know. I can't say I hated it, but of course I was always looking for the day I'd be discharged.
Right.
But one thing about in Greenland, it was cold, and you know.
The whole time.
The whole time you were there, it was
Yeah.
cold,
Uh,
was it?
yeah.
So
One
you were
thing
there.
I experienced, I was up there that it was daylight 24 hours. There's one day that the sun we never saw it.
It
And
was
I'll
dark.
always remember that day. You know?
What was the weather like there?
It was cold.
How cold was it?
Well,
Illinois cold or cold you've never experienced?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a picture, I was looking at it yesterday. I had my fur cap on and coloring over, so you know, the ship is really warm.
Right. And so you stayed on the ship. Is that right? Or was there a base there?
No,
that
that
you
was the
stayed
base
at?
there.
Okay.
The Army, they had supplies there for the people that had to be there.
Right. Do you remember any of your comrades there? Do you remember them?
Oh, I remember several of them. I have no idea where they are now.
Yeah.
Probably not living.
Right.
Because after all, you know, now it makes us 92 years old.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. They had did they have entertainment there for you? Like, was there a place you could go when you weren't on duty?
Oh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. How did you stay in touch with your family?
By letter.
By letter?
Yeah.
And did you have a sweetheart at the time?
Yeah.
Is she in the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were high school graduates in the same class, so you know I knew her a long time.
You were not married though, before you went in the service?
No, I was not
But we
married.
got married before he got. He was also sent to Philadelphia. I don't know. Was Philadelphia after Brooklyn? Was Philadelphia after Brooklyn?
No, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
He didn't go back.
after Brooklyn.
So when you came, it was after Brooklyn?
Mm-hmm.
So when you came to Philadelphia, was that your first time back in the States? Did you come straight to Philadelphia?
No, I was in Germany, or not Germany, Georgia, and then
And in Brooklyn.
yeah,
Okay.
And then
I went to
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. I worked in Philadelphia as a mechanic, I guess you'd say, you know. When you were just spending time, they had so many people to take care of, and so, you know, it's kind of silly job for a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I was young, looking forward to the day that I could get back out.
Right. So did Phyllis come to meet you
At, where was it?
Philadelphia.
in Philadelphia?
And we got married then, before we left there, before that.
And when was that? Tell me the date. Or should I ask Phyllis the date?
That's correct.
March
March 2nd.
1945.
March 19th, 1945. Oh,
March 9th. No, March, I must have gone there in February though, because we didn't get married until March 2nd, 1945. And he didn't.
okay. Before, I should have introduced her, and obviously I didn't. So how do you do that?
Let's do it at the end.
Do it at the end. Okay. Is it okay to ask? And then, so when you're recording, are you putting her, the wife, and then she just gives her answer? Okay. I just wasn't sure how, I should have introduced Phyllis in the beginning.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I just wasn't sure how she was going to record all that. Okay, here. Going back to Greenland, what job precisely did you mostly have there?
Operating a crane.
Operating a crane.
Well, you know, when they hired me, they saw I was an operator in the Army, and they put me in the division of the Army, I guess, the first thing. And then, I saw no combat, never carried a gun, or I had to learn to shoot one at my basic training, but I never did have to shoot anybody.
Are you thankful for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now, when you were operating the crane, were you unloading, what were you doing with, what were you
We was
moving?
loading these ships that came in there, loaded with gasoline, barrels of gasoline. We had to get them out of the ship, and we stored it in the camp, or in the, near the runway. And then when those ships or airplanes landed, then we had to fuel them, you know, and then we were ready to fly on.
Did you ever have to do the fueling yourself?
Well, yes, maybe driving a truck or something to bring a barrel of gasoline over there, always a load of gasoline. And they had to load it and store it and wait for the airplane to go in the line.
Right. What was the, let's kind of talk a little bit about your time in Greenland. What were the living quarters like?
Well, not very modern, really.
No.
Although the Army had a PX there for us to go down and buy supplies or some kind of cigarettes. And,
Right. What was the food like?
not too good.
Not too good?
We learned to live that the way the Army was. Even where you went, there's KP duty for help build or spare some of the food.
Mm-hmm. Did you have plenty of supplies there?
Yeah,
Yes, you weren't.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say what, with the ships they came with, they always had good supplies to take care of the people who were stationed there all the time, you know.
Mm-hmm. How did the soldiers entertain themselves?
Work.
They worked. Did you ever have anyone come in to entertain you at the base?
Not that I remember.
You don't remember that? No. Was there anything special you did for good luck? Did you have any?
No, I never thought about trying to have that.
Did you take anything special with you when you went into the service for good luck, Pete? No, I just wondered it. No. Now, were you granted leave?
Pardon?
Were you granted leave? Were you allowed to
No, there was
leave?
no place for us to go unless you would come back to the United States, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And was that ever allowed?
Not special. And
Okay.
then what sickness, maybe we ship back.
Okay.
I don't remember any of the boys as being getting sick, really.
Right.
I guess they had a place maybe for you if you didn't feel good or if you had a cold or something like that. But
Yeah.
we about all we did was work.
Work. How did you get your news? Do you remember?
I can't answer that. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Well, the news was mostly by letter from our folks.
Okay. And would you hear news of the war?
Well, yeah, I guess we did.
Mm-hmm. Do you you mentioned a photograph earlier of you in Greenland. Do you have some photographs that you have now?
Yeah, we had some pictures there. We discovered a picture the other day being, so when I started out with the crane, I was the oiler, and had that service it every day. And we had a picture there that we're caps on and and then I forget why, and I was graduated to one of the operators. So, that's what you always did. You get a little better deal and maybe you, that was a nice job.
Mm-hmm. And did you keep that job throughout your time there?
There, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know who was supposed to replace me. I don't remember. I suppose somebody, the oiler, when I was graduated to the operator, I had somebody under me that was supposed to check off everything.
Mm-hmm. And were you good friends with that person, or just?
Well, we became good friends.
You did?
There was no contest or anything, it was just improvement for my job and their job.
Right. Right. If he did his job well, then you could do your job well.
Yeah.
Right. Very good. What did you think of the officers?
Well, some of them nice, some of them were. Had a guy that was, one guy we had was a Saturday Evening Post magazine. He was author of that. And he was just like me. He was ready, and yeah, he was looking to the day to get back to his first special job,
Right.
That was to get out of the Army.
Right. Did you keep a diary while you were there? Or?
No, not really.
No. Did you write often?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, most of the time when you were the operator, that was what your command was, to take care of that, and, it was not required, because you had no way of getting out of there, the news or anything.
Well, could you mail letters home?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we were so busy, most of the time, we were very good writers home.
Did you get plenty of letters?
Oh, yeah, that's often. Sometimes it was bunched up, because they were late getting into Greenland, but, you always had that to enjoy
Right.
what the kids at home, and brothers and sisters,
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
and five boys and 3 girls.
So there's,
So, they had a lot of news. Not all of them were even old enough to write, but they were still part of our family.
sure. Where are you in the order of your siblings?
I had a sister who was just older than me, and I was next to her. About 2 years every year, then.
Another. Did anyone else in your family serve in the
Pardon?
service? Did anyone else in your
I
family?
had a brother that went.
And where did he go?
He was in the Air Force,
Okay.
and I forget what all the places he was.
Mm-hmm.
She had a brother next to me, 2 years younger than me, but he was deferred to help them on the farm, because that was important to keep the farm going, and that's a lot of work.
absolutely. Did you and your brother, did you serve were you in service during the same time period?
No, I don't remember. He was below me, but I don't remember how long.
Okay.
He was in the Army, or in the Air Corps, and he was the Air Corps. He was kind of short and young, so that was his job, to be in the bottom of that Air Corps and operate the gun.
I see.
And took off. He never talked much about it, and I didn't either.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, if you ever talked much about it together.
She got one picture there that was both in our Army. We both looked the same, had her sundans on. He was quite a bit shorter than me, and that's the reason why he got the job below the gun, see, the airplane.
That picture you're talking about, where was it taken at? Do you remember?
We were home.
You were home. On leave?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Do you have any particular humorous or unusual event that you can remember?
No. It's pretty serious.
Do you mean that you were pretty serious, or the whole situation was very serious?
The whole situation.
Yeah.
I suppose there was other stuff like that, but I wasn't acquainted with it.
Right. Yeah. Now, so tell us about when you came back to the United States then, to finish your service time.
Well, my main job when I got shipped out of the Marine was to make enough points for my to be discharged from the Army. Because the world, the Army, or the fight was over then, see, so I had no really. But, they just couldn't kick everybody out.
Sure.
Because they wanted to let you go back to civil life and the right kind of a person.
Right. Was it difficult to transition back into a civilian life?
No, it wasn't. I looked forward to that day because I had duties when I got home to get back on that farm and get to work,
How did the war affect your family?
I don't know. They were proud people, and, they were part of the, I don't know what I want to say. They was always glad to get a letter from me, and I was always glad to get a letter from them.
Yeah.
To keep up on the news.
Right. Do you remember them ever experiencing any hardships, shortages of supplies, or things such as that?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Do you recall the day that your service ended?
I was sent to Georgia. I knew I was getting close to points. I had enough points to get out.
Mm-hmm. And is that where you finished your time in the service? Is Georgia?
Well, I went on. I was always up to Brooklyn and all the other places after. That was the first place I hit when I come back from Greenland in Georgia. And they didn't have no duty for me, They were just boarding me, you might say.
Right.
And I wasn't in Georgia very long because they just kept me on the move.
They did.
To give you a job, I guess, so you wouldn't run away.
How did you get home?
The same way, come back on a ship.
Okay.
And I always remember that when I went and I'd get seasick.
You would.
And they'd start up them motors to go, I got sick. So that wasn't a very joyful trip up or even coming home.
Right.
That's the way it was. I just couldn't do anything about it.
Right. Now, in Greenland, when the planes would come in to be fueled, were they always U.S. planes, or were there Allied forces as well, or do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know how they were scheduled to do. I just know we knew when here come a bunch of airplanes, we had to get them ready to go on.
Right. Would that be all hours of the day?
It might be,
Okay.
Most of the time is during the evening, so you didn't give away anything, They didn't want. Well, I suppose the boys overseas there knew that there was airplanes coming, and that they were getting. I don't know if they had any other places where they did that, but that was handy in the shortest trip over after they got full of gasoline. But then later they had fuel and stuff they could load them into America and then send them to over there. But you always knew there was going to be a drive when you got those airplanes loaded with gasoline. They were boys just like, well, they were older people, the pilots, but they appreciated being loaded with fuel. They had enough to go on.
Right. Would they also stop and eat, or would they just fuel up and go on?
Well, they might be there for 3 or 4 days, getting that, and us getting them ready to go on.
Okay.
But we always knew after we got them loaded, they wasn't going to be too long before they're going to be hitting over there with it.
And do you ever know where they were heading to?
No, that was all secret. We didn't care either,
Yeah. Right. So tell me a little bit about you and Phyllis getting married while you were still in the service.
Well, it's just like, I don't know.
She stepped out for just a minute.
Yeah.
Did your family come?
No.
No.
We just got I forget what he called one. It wasn't even a preacher. It was some other kind. Get up and got through the whole procedure.
Was it a justice of the peace?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And had you to arrange this meeting through letters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you looking forward to it?
I was.
I bet. Yeah.
Because when she came, the letter was stopped. She was done writing letters, but there I was right there. We enjoyed it.
I bet. Did you have some time together after your marriage?
Yeah, we did.
You did.
Not enough to come home or anything, but just there around Philadelphia.
Yeah. Do you remember taking in the sights with Phyllis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. Very good. And did her letters sort of help your time pass?
Certainly did. I looked when she was a nice girl, and I think she wrote a letter every night.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, we were in the same class in high school,
Mm-hmm.
so, we weren't strangers or anything
No.
like that. I'm not saying that she was the only girl I went with. Yeah, nice girl, blonde hair, crowd up too.
Oh.
So we had kind of had a contest in school,
What was your contest in school?
but just going with them and going to show and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
going uptown to get a Coke.
Uh-huh.
Anything to be together,
Yeah. Oh.
I hated it. Heard that when I had to go in the army, but I don't know. I suppose she understood too that my age is my duty not to refuse it.
No. How old were you when you went into the service?
19.
19. Okay.
Yeah, I went to the way over and up to Chicago for my first exam, and they discovered I had asthma. I'd never reported it, but the doctors went through you pretty, so they sent me back home, and I was home for a year, and then they called me in again, and then they took me, because there was hot action in everywhere, you know, and everybody had to work for it.
Right. How did you feel about that when you got to come home for that year? Did you feel as
I
though...
was disappointed I didn't go the first time they called me, because I wanted to be proud and part of the action. I didn't know what I was getting into. With all the action I had, I'm proud I was there to do it. But I'd probably give anything I had that I didn't have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I was a happy boy when the Army come with that action. You had to have points to get out.
Right.
I had no choice to go when they come pick me up, and they was ready to get rid of me then, when they had to hold the soldier there.
Right. Do you remember the day the war was over?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, we were pretty happy, celebrated, and thought we led the war, but I was proud when I came home. You know, I had a sergeant stay home with sleep, and 4 gold bars for being there up there 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was proud of when I had that suit on.
I bet.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Where were you when you heard that the war was over?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember what I'm doing.
You
I
may come-
remember we were there when it was declared. We'd been to a show and came out, and the streets was full of people, and on to them that got the news that President Roosevelt had declared war.
Mhm. Can we pause for a minute? Just for a second. I need to check and see one of our other, just so he knows, so.
But we had a hard time. I was there, but he
Wait just a
was...
minute. So we're back now. Phyllis, Bob's wife, can you tell us a little bit about getting married while he was in the service?
My mother and I went out for a meeting in Philadelphia, and he had a hard time getting off work to go get the license.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how, finally, there were several days that he tried, and I finally got the lead so we could get to the office and get our marriage license before they closed. But then we went to a minister's home, and our landlady, my mother and I, got a room for us in Philadelphia. And anyhow, what was I going to say? Oh, she went with us, the landlady did. My mother had to go home because she'd been there a week.
Okay.
She went on home, so the landlady went with us to the minister's home, and
Was she your witness?
she was our witness.
She was your witness.
And a minister's wife, she was there too, so
Mm-hmm.
didn't have any friends or anything.
Did you have a family that was in the service as well?
My brother.
Your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And did you ever have an encounter with her brother since you were both in the service?
What should I say?
He went into Indiantown Gap. That's where he was really stationed there.
And that was near Hershey. And I was in one night, went to town to Hershey, and I don't know what we were doing, but anyhow, here her brother was right there. We had no idea of ever meeting each other, but we had a good time, and He was from
Maryland.
Baltimore. wasn't he?
Maryland, but
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. It's an old can.
He had joined when he got out of high school with them,
Yeah.
and he had some experiences, but I had no idea that I'd ever see him. We just walking on the street, I guess,
Yeah.
and there he was ahead of me.
And so you got to spend the evening together?
Yes,
Very good.
Before we had to go back to camp.
Right. That was a nice treat then.
Yes, it was.
Very good.
We were just tickled to death.
They weren't
He was-
brother-in-laws at that
he was-
time, they
he
were,
was,
but they'd been friends.
Yeah, we
He
were
knew it,
good
you
friends
know,
before
well.
that. Of course, he was younger than me because just as soon as he graduated from high school, he joined, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I had led a different life then because I'd been out of high school for a few years and I was busy on the farm and busy playing around.
Did you miss the farm?
Pardon me?
Did you miss the farm
Yes,
life?
I did. That's my life. It's my life, you know.
Yeah.
I was, finally when I got out, we started raising a family, and I farmed for 40 years
Yeah.
for myself, you know.
Right. So that's what you did when you came home?
Yeah.
From your time in the service?
That's my farm.
And then did you and Phyllis set up a home together?
Yeah.
And where was that at?
Saragordo, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. There,
I had a little boy.
Okay.
Which was always pretty proud. And you know, the biggest thing I'm proud of, we spent 72 years. No divorce
70.
or anything. We had our hardships sometimes, but we always,
But that's not army life, Rob.
That's okay. That's okay. So you were together, how long have you been married?
72 years.
Maybe.
70 years.
In March.
Yeah.
70
In
years
March.
in March.
2nd.
Yeah. That's something to be proud of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say when you started your home together in Saragordo, you had a son?
We had a baby.
You had a baby. What's his name? On the way. What's his name?
Keith.
Junior.
That's my middle name. Keith.
Uh-huh. How many children did you have altogether?
Two
Two?
big boys.
Two big boys.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're both had good jobs and they're retired.
Mm-hmm.
Good life.
Right. Now, when you came home from your time in the service, did you notice life had changed?
Well, the kids had all gotten older. I noticed that, you know, and some of them had jobs. The brother was 2 years younger than me, and he was farming for himself by then, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that.
Yeah. Did you make any close friendships with anyone that you in the service that you maybe still keep in touch with?
I had some close friends while I was in Greenland, and then they came home, and I was with a good friend at Colby, Illinois, and one in Springfield, Illinois. We were so glad to get home and with our families that we didn't make any. I went to see my friend in Colby, and I couldn't even find him.
Really?
And for a while. We never did large there, you know. Well, we were at the state fair one year, and I ran on to one of them I was with, you know. And we just did without them, and come on, forgot them.
Right. Mm-hmm. When you came home, did you join any type of veterans organization?
Legion, later on I joined Legion.
Mm-hmm. Was that in Saragordo?
Yeah.
B-Men.
B-Men. Okay. Very good. Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or just the military in general?
It just what came along, I had never kept.
You support it though. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you support veterans and you support defending our country, right? John?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did you ever attend any reunions?
Reunion?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
No.
Any sort of military reunions?
No.
No, okay,
No, never
okay. Very good. Yeah.
If they ever had one, you never heard about it.
Yeah. How did your service in the military experience, how did those experiences affect your life?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
To answer that,
Okay, that's okay. Is there anything you'd like to add that we haven't talked about?
well, the wars, future wars, I thought about them while they were going through, and it was more serious, really. I mean, it comes back, you know, they've been injured or something like that, and I didn't have no experience like that in Greenland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you have any friends that came home injured from the war?
Not that I remember.
Okay. And so what similarities or differences do you see in your world as a veteran compared to those that are currently serving in the military?
Well, to me, like, they more action.
You mean current day, they have more action?
Mm-hmm. Current wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. We were talking about that the other day. It's a different kind of action than I mean, they knew who they were fighting. Those boys like them. And I think we said it's just a whole new world. And like from Vietnam, they didn't even get any credit for a while when they came home.
Right.
I'm
They
sure.
went home with flying colors.
I'm sure the fighting now, there's different way they're doing it than back. We just, you know, shoot. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. So, did you feel as though you had a warm welcome when you came home from your time in the service?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Really glad.
Yeah.
One thing about being in the Army, you saw a lot more country than you ever would if you stayed on the farm.
Yeah. Have you ever traveled back to any of the places where you
No.
spent time in the service?
No.
No. Did you ever have any desire to?
Well, no. I was happy for it. It was home and doing. That's the only job I ever had, really, is farming.
Right. Do you think back on your time in the military fondly?
It's what?
Do you think back on your time in the military fondly?
Good memory.
Do you have good memories, or
Yeah.
are they things you'd rather not think about?
Well, no, I'm not saying that anything I did. I was proud to be in the service. I probably would have been in there a year younger than what it was when I have no idea where it would have happened then or what would have been ahead of me, you know. So,
That's something to think about, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel when Veteran Day comes around?
Oh, they learned me to be proud of it. And I'm glad that I am proud of it. And I like some of the things they do. And, well,
Good. Phyllis, is there anything else you'd like to share that maybe we haven't talked about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Bob, for allowing me to interview
I'm
you.
proud of it.
Well, we're grateful for your service, and we're very proud that we can call you our friend.
I'm proud of it.
Good. Good. Well, that was my first